I stand before this room to hold this Supreme Court in contempt. This Supreme Court that is wildly out of step with both precedent and public opinion. This Supreme Court, which through its terrible lack of judgment, both in chambers and on luxury vacations, has lost the faith of the American people. This extremist Supreme Court, through its affirmative action decision, has reaffirmed the entrenched power of the wealthy elite who pay for their luxury vacations while at the same time pulling the rug out from under millions of minority students who have excelled despite adversity and who strive to attain the American dream and who seek to help their communities. I'd like to talk about the real life and death consequences of this decision, the collateral damage these justices have inflicted. Because in this country, Black women have a maternal and infant mortality rate 3 times that of their white peers, while the rate of African American medical residents entering OBGYN programs has been declining. The mortality rates for Black mothers and their babies in the United States rivals those of many third world countries. What happens to our nation's shameful infant and maternal mortality rate when fewer Black doctors are entering the field able to recognize and combat the biases that lead to such misery? How many mothers will bear the burden of burying their newborn because some faceless organization engaged the Supreme Court in its radical politics to uphold white supremacy? And how many young mothers will be ripped away from their children and their husbands due to the perceived slights of fragile men in Black robes? These decisions have consequences. Right now, just 4% of psychologists are Black. At a time when suicide rates are climbing among Black children, what is the consequence for a generation of Black children when a generation of culturally competent Black therapists and counselors disappears? How many American families will be destroyed because the help their children needed was not available due to the extreme decisions of unaccountable, reckless political actors? Something tells me these questions were not top of the mind for Justice Samuel Alito or Clarence Thomas. They're making decisions not based on honest interpretation of the Constitution, but on their own radical ideology. They are a captured, unelected arm of the extreme right wing of the Republican Party. The American people recognize this and have lost faith in their ability to pass judgment impartially. This decision is not just about who gets to go to school. It's about who lives and dies and who is left to pick up the pieces. We must reform the Supreme Court, and balancing it through expansion is a critical response to the crisis we experience.